All right, I'm short, so I can leave this right here where it is. I've also never been accused of being soft-spoken. I'm Justice John Browning. I am your newest justice on the Fifth Court of Appeals. Many of you already know me, and many of you already voted for me in 2018. So, as Justice Evans said, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself, for those of you who don't know me, and then I'm going to talk about what happened in 2018, why it had such an impact, and why it's so critical that we need to avoid that happening again. Well, first of all, let me just say that, I enjoyed tremendous support from here in Grayson County in 2018. Loved coming here, coming and sitting and visiting, enjoying fellowship with you all, Texoma Patriots, going to the Grayson County Republican Women, I love Grayson County. I think I took 76% of Grayson County. But Dallas County was the problem. Ours is the only race where you can win 5 out of 6 counties and still lose, right? First of all, I got onto the court in a way I never wanted to. On July 25th, we lost our longest serving justice, Justice David Bridges. He was killed by a drunk driver going the wrong way. Justice Bridges lived in Rockwall County, where I'm from. Been a friend of mine for over 20 years, and I was devastated. But we needed to replace him on the ballot. And right away, sooner than I was really ready to hear, frankly, folks were reaching out to me, Republican leaders from around the 6 counties, asking me to submit my name for consideration to be put on the ballot. And finally, Justice Bridges' wife, Sandy, the night before his funeral, said, "John, David would want you to take his place on the Court of Appeals." So I put my name under consideration. Do we have precinct chairs here from Grayson County? Yes. Well, then you all know on August 15th there was a special election. Precinct chairs and county chairs from all 6 counties convened in Dallas to select a replacement on the ballot. I was blessed to be chosen overwhelmingly on August 15th with y'all's support. And then a nice thing happened the following week. Well, 2 nice things. One, on August 26th, I got to celebrate 31 years of marriage to my wife, my college sweetheart. And we got to FaceTime with our 2 grandchildren, 5-year-old who just started his virtual kindergarten school year, and a 3-year-old who's trying to do everything Big Brother is. And the governor's office called and said, we'd like to consider appointing you, and can you get some paperwork in pretty quick? And I did that, and on August 24th, Governor Abbott appointed me. Now my wife said, "Are you going to take some time out?" Oh, that's the press release, yeah. Are you going to take some time off? We haven't had a vacation. Well, of course, with COVID, you can't go anywhere anyway, right? At least that's what I tried to tell her. But also my fellow Republican justices on the court said, "Hey, we're outnumbered, and we're justice down. We need you to start right away. There are important votes. We need to hold the ground that we have." And I was happy to start, and I got a running start. Within my first week, I was writing opinions. Just this week, I've already gotten a 27-page opinion out. We are working, and we're working hard down there. A little bit about me. Before the governor appointed me, I was practicing law with a large national firm in their office in Plano. I live in Rockwall. Spent most of my career going all around Texas, working in downtown, kind of a skyscraper lawyer, but did a lot of trials and appeals throughout Texas, arguing appeals before justices on 11 of the 14 appellate courts that we have. I have more appellate experience, back in the race in 2018 than, any of the other Democrats. Had all kinds of qualifications. I won't bore you with all the details. Got my law degree from the University of Texas, hook 'em. But because I'm an adjunct law professor at SMU and at Texas A&M and at Texas Tech, I can gig 'em, I can pony up, and I can guns up with the best of them.
There you go.
I've got most of the old Southwest Conference represented, right?
Yep.
I've written 4 law books, hundreds of legal articles. Prior to taking the bench, I've been looked upon as sort of a legal scholar in a lot of different areas of law. That's it on qualifications. On conservative values, that's important too. We all want a judge who reflects our conservative values. I'm blessed to be endorsed by groups like Texas Right to Life. I'm a lifelong Catholic who has been staunchly pro-life. In 2018, was endorsed by the 3 largest pro-life groups in the state. As an attorney in private practice, I did pro bono work for pro-life activists. I've defended religious liberties in our courts. I've represented churches. When the state bar gave me an award, and it came with a $5,000 stipend that I could direct would go to any charitable organization, I chose the First Liberty Institute because I believe in supporting the fight for religious liberties. I'm a lifelong NRA member, and that probably shouldn't shock you with a name like John Browning, right? Yeah. I've also represented probably half the gun industry while I was in private practice, and I litigated protecting our Second Amendment rights in court. So, I don't just talk the talk, I've walked the walk in terms of, embodying our conservative values. Now, I want to talk to you about what happened in 2018, how this happened, how we need to avoid this happening again. So, in 2018, I call it, you all have seen the movie The Perfect Storm, right? Okay, all kinds of events just came together. Well, we had the perfect storm in 2018, right? Texas, in 2018, was one of only 2 states in the entire country that elects all of its judges from the trial level on up to the very highest level, our Supreme Court and our Court of Criminal Appeals, in partisan elections. And used straight ticket voting. We're one of only 2. Alabama was the other one. Well, obviously now straight ticket voting is gone, but it wasn't in 2018. So we had that partisan election of top to bottom. We had the straight ticket voting, which the legislature decided, hey, the Democrats are better using this and putting in unqualified people at all kinds of levels than we're using it, because as Republicans, we want to be better informed voters. And I can tell you, when I was in private practice, routinely, friends, neighbors, folks from church would contact me and say, John, you're a lawyer, you're in front of these judges, what can you tell me about this one or that one, or who do I vote for? And a lot of people would tell me, well, I don't know anything about that judge, so I'm just not going to vote. Yeah. Let me tell you, we can't do that, because the Republican that you don't know is 1,000 times better than the Democrat you don't want, right? Okay, so back to 2018. We got the straight ticket voting. We've got all that, and we had a young man named Robert Francis O'Rourke. Beto, right? My wife joked after seeing one of his appearances, she said, you speak better Spanish than he does. Maybe true. But he had the Democratic Party whipped into a fervor. They were getting tons of money, tens of millions of dollars in from out of state, and they were trying to turn Texas blue. Well, he didn't succeed, obviously. He didn't win a Senate race. It came way too close for comfort. They didn't get any Democrats elected statewide, but what they did do was they created a splash, a blue splash, down ballot. And what happened was not just our 5th Court of Appeals, which had been previously all Republican, all 13 justices. And the last time there'd been a Democrat on that court was back, I think, in the early 90s. So for over 20 years, we'd had an all-Republican, great conservative court until what happened in 2018. And the same thing that happened to our 5th Court of Appeals happened statewide. The appellate courts in Houston, San Antonio, Austin, the major urban areas went from either all Republican appellate courts or Republican-controlled appellate courts overnight to Democrat-controlled, or in a couple cases, all Democrat. Now, Chief Justice Hecht of our Texas Supreme Court, we were talking not long after that happened, and he said, John, we lost 7 centuries of judicial experience in one night. This cannot happen again, right? So, we had the Beto effect, we had the straight ticket voting, and the result was we lost so many years of experience, great qualified incumbents, and I'm so glad that Governor Abbott appointed Justice Evans to, get his old job back. But now he's got to keep it, as do I and Justice Whitehill. So we're down to 5. 3 of us are on the ballot this year. In 2022, 2 other Republicans will be up for re-election. We've got to hold our ground. Now, how do we do that? How do we stop what happened in 2018? Well, number one, there's no more straight ticket ballot, right? No more straight ticket voting. There's no Beto, right? His presidential aspirations didn't go too far, right? They crashed and burned. But we do still have highly motivated Democrats who want to turn Texas blue over my dead body, right? So, we have to vote all the way down, from the White House to the courthouse. I mean, that is critical. And I'm going to disagree with my good friend Karen on one point. Don't just take 3 people with you.
Take more.
My wife and I took 5 during the March primary. Some neighbors, friends from church, we said, hey, we're going down first day of early voting. Can we give you a ride? Oh, it's early voting started already? Yeah. Oh, is there anything important? Yeah. Come on down. I mean, now we have to, this matters more than ever. You've heard this before elections, that this is the most important election ever. I believe for our country, and certainly locally, this may be the most important election ever. And I can tell you, as first a lawyer and then a judge, if you think about the important legacies that President Trump is going to leave, one of the most important ones is what he's done in transforming our federal courts. And that report was a little out of date. Let me give you the most up-to-date. He's appointed nearly 200 federal judges. He now has appointed more of the federal judiciary than anyone else, and we've got more in the pipeline. There are Senate hearings that were going on today, as a matter of fact, confirmation hearings for other nominees. That has been a mission for Mitch McConnell and for the Trump administration. Judges matter. Why do they matter? Look, it does no good to have a great state rep, like my good friend Reggie Smith. Reggie and I used to try cases together, Grayson County Courthouse and in the federal courthouse here in Sherman. It does no good to have them working hard for you, passing good laws, if you're going to have some liberal activist judge decide, as I have heard them tell me in Dallas County for years, well, Mr. Browning, you're right. That is what the law says. But I'm not going to grant your motion because I don't agree with that law. That's not what a judge's role is supposed to do. Okay, I learned about a judge's true role from some great people, including my late friend and mentor, Justice Antonin Scalia. Okay, a judge is there to apply the law as it was written, as it is, not as you might like it to be, not as you just decide on a given day what the whim is. Okay, you are there to be a judge, not a legislator, not to make the law. Don't legislate from the bench. So, we need to bring more than 3 folks with us, and we need to show up, okay? As a good friend, Justice Bill Whitehill, is about to tell you about the important values that are at stake, it's no exaggeration. Liberty is on the line, okay? So, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your support from back in 2018. I need your support again. We all do. And thank you so much for having us. And I'm going to turn it over to Justice Whitehill now.